Hi, it's Laura.
And Daniel.
This is episode 3 of Special Interest Chats. And my idea was to talk about special interests over the years. And that's particularly because right now, 20 years ago, we were falling in love.
Those were the halcyon days.
I think we officially met on November 8th, if I recall correctly.
I thought it was November 9th.
It might be November 9th. We would have to look up Election Day 2005.
Yeah, we can't. That information isn't available.
It's not available. It doesn't exist. So that's when we met, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we moved in together by April or March of 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been together ever since.
Your special interest at the time was Harry Potter.
That's true. Yours at the time was World of Warcraft, I would say.
No. I mean, I had already been on and off, a little bit, but it was still D&D mostly.
And also Star Wars. It's always been. There are special interests that carry all the time. Mm-hmm. And then there are some that are fleeting. And then there is a special interest that's like a category of things. Mm-hmm. So like your category would be video games.
Yeah.
And tabletop games. But like that's dominated by D&D and Magic.
Yes. I mean, there was a very specific reason why I got into Magic, though, or more so than D&D. But yeah, I mean, WoW came out while we were seniors in college. Yeah. So it was still pretty early. I didn't really start playing WoW super intensely and getting into a raiding guild until it was like 2 years old. So that was like a year and a half into our relationship.
Because I feel like I remember, was it the first expansion that you like got really into it?
Yes.
But
but that wasn't until WoW was 2 years old. So that means that it would have been like a year into our relationship.
But you still had a character. Like I remember when we got together, you had a character that you had sold already.
Correct, yeah.
Right. So can you still do that? Do people?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
There's way too many security things to allow. I mean, you weren't technically allowed to back then, but it was
But
a lot
you
easier.
could do it.
I mean, you still can. It's just a lot harder. You have to go to the dark web.
Dark web. Oh.
I only vaguely know what that is.
That seems like a pretty innocent thing to do on the dark web. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And my special interest was Harry Potter. What would you say? So like I said that you have categories of special interest. Do I?
I mean, I think that all of your special interests over the years have always revolved around fan fiction in some way. And I think that a big part of what keeps you engaged is your ability to find more content of that thing through fan fiction. Really, regardless of how niche it is. I mean, AO3 wasn't anything like it is today back then, but it was still...
It did exist then, actually.
Oh, it didn't exist at all? Okay.
So that was fanfiction.net time.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and so I read a lot of HP fanfiction on fanfiction.net, and then there was a time where, it was a dark time, where all of the grown-up material, if you will, was just removed. They decided not to do that anymore, kind of like Tumblr. So,
it did not work out well for OnlyFans when they tried to do that a couple years ago.
Did not. Sure didn't.
It lasted like a week.
Yeah, no one uses fanfiction.net. I do still remember my name to it, though. I'm not telling that on video.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. So, it's true. Okay, so I would say, though, that fan fiction isn't a category, but is a consistent thing I do if I'm interested in a fandom. But you can't have a fan fiction without a fandom. You have to be into something first.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But in terms of like...
That's definitely true, though.
I mean, in terms of your obsessions, though, specifically the funny sort of reoccurring theme is that your sister will get really into something and you kind of like make fun of it, and then you will inevitably
It's true.
even go way deeper than
Always deeper.
But after Harry Potter, it was Twilight for a minute.
It was. It was Twilight for a minute, and I got really into fan fiction, mostly because, like, I hadn't read fan fiction in a long time, because I went through, like, kind of spurts, and when that scene happened after marriage and it faded to black, I was just so mad. I was like, where's the payoff? And so I had to go to fan fiction to find it.
You literally had to.
What other choice did I have?
No choice.
And then we also, it was
would have to.
early queer awakening stuff when we were reading about the one female werewolf imprinting on a woman. Chef's kiss. We love. I love turning a misogynistic fantasy written by a Mormon into gay fan fiction, you know?
Yeah, I love that vibe.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's
what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, like you always sort of categorize things in your like by awakening by like what phase, and that was an early one. I'm just curious if there was, do you like already have in your mind like specific?
No, because
I know you mentioned a few of them over the years.
Yeah. I think that late bloomers have this thing where we look back and realize, oh, that was actually gay thoughts that I was having.
Right.
And so there's things where I'm like, oh, yep, that makes sense. Because like fan fiction, at least in my world, has always been queer in some way. Like before I was even looking for it to be queer. It's like, think about Remus Sirius as like one of the most lasting ships in that fandom, you know? And so I think that like, you know?
Interesting. And then when you eventually get, and I mean, this is years later, but when you get super into Schitt's Creek, that might be the first like deep dive fandom thing that was already gay.
Exactly. And I do feel that David and Patrick led me to BL. Like that was the start.
that was the trend. I mean, because you met a really close friend in real life that came from the fan fiction of that specifically. You,
that's when I was really coming out.
Yeah.
Too, when I was involved in that fandom. And so as things move forward, I just wanted queer things. And then it was Young Royals, and my friend in Young Royals introduced me to BL. So, okay, but like, when do you think you started recognizing my behavior with this stuff as a special interest that was like comparable to your own?
Well, first of all, I mean, that it's weird to think about in hindsight because special interest and, you know, your sort of identifying more with ADHD, me sort of being diagnosed with ADHD and identifying more with autism. I mean, those are like, so like the concept of special interest being related to some sort of like neurodivergence is like new to us in the last few years. But thinking back on it, that is an interesting question, because you would always say that you were jealous of the fact that I had a special interest, even
and
though
that came up a lot when I was jealous that I didn't have a hobby after we had kids.
Right. Yeah. And it's interesting because that was my transition to magic, because I ended up getting super obsessed with magic, so it kind of backfired. But like, the idea was like, oh, we're about to have a baby. Yeah. And I was in 3 D&D games per week at the time.
That was not realistic.
And you know, I mean, it's fine to be really into D&D, to read D&D books, to look at D&D stuff online. But the thing about a D&D game 3 times a week is that it's a 4-hour block. Yeah. Which is like, you can't really do that. And I was also really into League of Legends at the time. Oh, shit, I forgot. Which was a big problem, because that was the first time I played a game where it was like, when I sit down to this game, it's like a minimum 20 minutes. It's like a minimum 20 minutes. Yes. And sometimes the games go to like an hour. Yeah. Right?
That was better than raiding, though.
Well,
raids took forever.
Well, they took forever, but at least I could like get up and take a break. Like after each boss, there would be breaks throughout the raid, like things like that. But they were scheduled, but still, yes, that didn't work with kids either for different reasons. So my thought was like, oh, Magic is a much shorter sort of digestible game, so that'll be a better interest than D&D. And I'd only been kind of peripherally into Magic. A few people had invited me to drafts, and so it was kind of like I was starting to learn more about it and get really interested in it. And that's and that special interest led to my best friend of 15 years now. So that's true. Really cool. Or 10 years. But,
almost 13. I mean,
but so anyway, getting back to the actual question, which is, what was the first one that I actually noticed that it was the same level of like passion and intensity? It really wasn't until like BL and like leading into, I mean, Well, K-pop.
Ah.
K-pop was the gateway, which led into BL, which led into
K-pop and BL actually happened at the same time, and it's all because of my friend Volley.
which
but
led
go on.
into
Yeah.
TikTok. And so like TikTok,
Yes.
and so like in your TikTok like presence, or like you're or deciding to be this content creator, which kind of happened organically. I mean, I think that's in a lot of ways the best way that it could have happened.
Yes, definitely. I like made some intentional decisions around like who I wanted to be on the internet, but I also just was like, my only real goal was like, I want to have 1,000 followers so I can go live. That was it.
Yeah.
And talk to people like live. And then it kept going.
Yeah. And then
And now we're here.
followers.
Yeah, now we're here.
Are we
So
11K yet?
what?
Are we 11K?
No,
yet?
we're going fast toward 11K. Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Okay, so that makes sense to me. And I think you're right. Like we've been married or together, we've been married 18 years, together 20. So we've been together so long that the language of special interest being part of the like zeitgeist wasn't real when we first got together. And so when I was thinking about this topic for our show, I was like, oh, intense mode.
Right. Yeah. That's a great thing to bring up in this video that I didn't even think about.
Tell the story.
But so I mean, it turns out when you find out when you're neurospicy late in life, you've been neurospicy your whole life.
Time.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
And so at our wedding, my best friend got up and gave a speech, and he's
very funny and good.
Very
at
funny
speeches.
and very well read, good writer, all those things.
Yeah.
And he, but anyway, it was really funny, and he sort of described this thing, which until then I had no idea. I mean, I know that I get, like when he said the words, I knew instantly what intense mode meant. I get very passionate about things. I get very like, for a while it was religion, really. Like I was super intense mode about Judaism. I was super intense mode about, whatever book I was reading, and about D&D throughout high school. I would constantly try to get people into it, all that stuff. But he described in the speech, like, this thing of intense mode, and it was him revealing to me in the speech that it was a thing that my group of friends had always used. Like, it was a term that, Daniel's coming. He's in intense mode about this. I could like picture these conversations happening behind my back, which is fine and adorable. But the funny thing about the speech was that he explains all of this, and you're wondering where it's going, and then he was just like, yeah. And then he called me and told me about my wife, my future wife, and he was just like, yeah, it wasn't in person, but it was like phone intense mode. So like that was because you were my special interest. He knew that it was serious.
Yeah, it was really good. We've never forgot that. So we've kind of used that. We started with the language of intense mode, but it was really focused on you. And I think that my journey into neurodivergence has always been, it's been very different, because for you, it's like I've always been this way, and now I finally have understanding and language around it as an adult, and that's really helpful.
Yeah.
And for me, there's like, one, it's way more recent for me than you. And I've been saying for a long time that
Well, that's true in terms of fandom and interests.
Yes.
But you were in intense mode about college.
100%. No, that's what I was going to say.
About education, about your career, about your goals, like what you wanted to do.
Yeah. And I also think that that we've had different experiences. Like I was talking to our friend Becky last night. She was over, and the difference is like the inability for me to use whatever kind of coping strategies I was using to make those things work and to keep the mask up and succeed have just fallen away with pandemic and stress and trauma and parenting, and then also perimenopause.
Sure, yeah.
Which is like a huge thing, because she was telling me, because she's a nurse practitioner, she was telling me that your hormone drops or something impacts dopamine. like it's all like related with perimenopause
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
increased ADHD. There's like a lot of research about it. It was a really cool conversation. But anyway,
That's so weird. I thought we had that conversation because I thought that because I was reading about this recently too.
I did talk to
dopamine
you
thing
about it.
specifically. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I did
got
talk
it,
to you about
got
it. But Becky and I talked about it more
Got it,
last
got it.
night. Anyway, Becky's awesome. So
We could say first names.
yeah, we can say first names.
Why?
I always
Anyway,
say my
we'll talk
first
about
name on the internet.
Well, it's like, they don't have like consent. We're talking about them.
Oh.
People know where you live. You
Yeah.
just said their profession. They could put,
It's fine. Becky's on TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, that's a good thing. Check in with your friends. Consent is important. Anyway, what were we talking about? ADHD and neurodivergence.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
just been like different journeys because also looking back, I'm like, oh, I see where these things were present my whole life, but they're magnified now. And for you, it's just like consistent. And now you have language and understanding. Like one really fun thing that just happened in our relationship is we were talking about dressing up. And when we were young, we would get dressed up. We kind of like to get fancy when we're going to like a party or a wedding or something like that. We're really young, right? And we hate it.
Yeah, I don't own pants that fit me. Literally.
Well, and I also was like, do you want me to buy you some? And you were like, no.
That sounds terrible. Why would you wear pants?
Right. And I wear yoga pants most of the time or
Yoga pants aren't pants.
No, they're
There's
just
a
outdoor
very
they're
specific
going
thing
out jammy pants.
that we're talking about when you say pants.
Right.
You know?
Hard pants. That's what
Right.
we call them.
Yeah. Right.
Hard pants versus soft pants. So we're always I'm looking for ways for my hard pants to feel like soft pants, to be soft pants in disguise.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Like, so my jeans, the jeans that I wear most of the time have elastic waists. And that's because we just want to be cozy. We just want to be cozy. I feel like that's pretty neurodivergent of us. We're not interested in masking either.
Okay, yeah, in that context.
Like,
sure. I think it's very common for people to like. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Want to be comfortable is different. You're saying like
People
the
do want to
abolishment
look
of
good. Like they're
non-comfort.
willing
Yeah.
to sacrifice some comfort to look good. And I enjoy doing makeup, but I don't do it as a mask anymore. And I did for a long time.
Right,
and I think that's fine. It served a purpose for me that helped me like have a boundary and pretend like I wasn't really tired and suffering when I had two young babies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's interesting.
But now I'm like, I'm tired and suffering. Fucking deal with it.
Yeah, totally. And like, and it's interesting what we just talked about in terms of, because I hadn't really thought about that yet in terms of like, part of why you didn't have like a fun special interest was that like you were in this mode of like, oh, the goals that like, you know, that you've identified maybe even weren't your goals. They were the things that you thought that you should be focusing on. Like,
they were the next step in what success
moving
means.
forward, beginning, you know,
or perfection.
Grad school, car, house, baby, you know, those types of things.
Promotion, more, more.
But like when I think about that in terms of my own career, that is, you know, there were a lot of reasons why I left the banking world, but like, but a lot of it had to do with like not being willing to mask anymore because I had to wear like a very thick mask to be a banker.
Yeah.
You know, to like sort of gamify banking in a way that I could use my skills to be successful, while, you know, turning a blind eye to how awful it was.
And I feel like in the beginning of our relationship, your special interests and my feelings were often at odds. And it's like when you're young, you bring whenever you get into a relationship, you like bring your baggage, right? And your ideas and your, you know, and we've really grown up together because we've been together since we were 22 and 23. And like, there was like your special interest created some sort of and your time blindness, right? And then like me having ideas of like what romance is or things like that were maybe toxic or unrealistic or not even like my own. You know what I mean? Like not even my own. And so I really like couldn't understand or respect Daniel's like feelings about the things that he was interested in, and he struggled to like regulate. We both have problems with that. Like his focus on them and like put time. So like that was like a long learning journey for us that I feel like we were in a fucking like excellent place in. And then for me, like 20 years later almost, or like 18, 17 years later, I have to figure that out. Cause it's like, you're watching so many BLs or you're making content, or like we haven't seen each other for a week and we live in the same house, right? And so that balance is like, but we have such better skills of like identifying and a totally different level of love and support and empathy between us around what it means to like be neurodivergent, have a special interest, like the feeling that it feels when you're really into something and you lose track of time, and like an ability to be patient with one another around that within reason, you know?
And it, you know, and if you're into something enough too, it like helps to do all the things you have to get done if you know, organize it correctly, because it's like, oh, I get to go do that thing again later.
Yep. And to share with each other. Like, because like, there are some things that you do that I'm not into at all, right? And
sure.
And there are some things that I do that you are just never going to be into.
Sure.
And then there are points where we can come together. Like I feel like the best example of coming together around something recently is the anime Free Rend. That's that was a perfect example.
Yeah, the Venn diagram of our interest, like there was like a lot of it that was able to overlap in a way that we were both, you know, like you'll watch Andor and I'll watch Kajira, but like that, like Free Run, we were both like very excited and we ate it alive as a result. It's the only thing, you know, and it's like she'll watch an episode of Andor and then it's a few days. I'll watch Kajira, you know, I gotta recharge and do my other things. I mean, not that I'm not liking it. It's just like,
it's not your thing.
It's not what I would choose to do.
With me.
But with Free Run, it was just like, we're watching,
we're watching
another
this.
one, and another one.
And another. And it was like this perfect balance of like, monsters and parties and like D&D-esque kind of things and like themes around love, loss, and what it means like to be human or humanoid, and grief, and like and also I had a really cool conversation with my friend Kay, who I talk about all the time because I love her so much, but like I've talked with you about how I've spoke to her about more kind of Asian styles of storytelling being meandering. It's like how the word she and I use, like this meandering journey.
Right.
And I think that Free Ren is such I think a lot of Danmei is that, but Free Ren is meandering. The point, I don't care if we ever get to heaven or whatever.
Yeah, it's
like,
interesting.
I just want to see what's happening in this episode.
Yeah.
I want to be on this journey of, because it's so character centered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, when you look at the big three anime that have like a manga that became anime, like I think that most people agree is like, are like the biggest, most, well, certainly the most prolific. It's Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto, and they're just like that. We're over 1,000 episodes into One Piece. We don't even know what the One Piece is.
Except I was talking to Kay about that like 2 days ago, and because I was talking about this exact thing because I can't watch Bleach because it made me so mad. Why did it make me mad? There's so many filler episodes.
Right.
And I was like, and then she's like,
they make videos that will like summarize and show the highlights.
Yes. And she's like, well, sometimes the anime team has to wait for the manga.
Right, yeah. That doesn't, I mean, that happens sometimes, but not.
But like, she specifically said that about Bleach.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was like, right. I'm not looking forward to if Free Run gets there because she said the mangaka's on a break.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of
having
manga
health issues.
out.
But yeah, there's so much of it. Yeah.
So anyway, like,
and seasons 2 and 3 are already greenlit for the anime. So.
Oh yeah, I think it's like anime of the year everywhere. It's incredible. So watch it.
There was another one. Oh yeah, but people were saying Apothecary Diaries. But yeah, there's no. It's It's
I would
insane.
like to
Free Run
watch
is
that
insane.
one though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, like I think it's because we both love fantasy in general. Like that's the first thing we came together around. And when before we had kids, we played D&D all the time together. And I've played like sporadically since then. And, but like the first way we really came together around fantasy before we ever met in person, because we went on MySpace and talked on the phone, was around D&D and like our love of fantasy.
Well, Harry Potter.
Yes, I know, but like when we were talking on the phone, like my memories
I see what you're saying.
of you teaching me about D&D and me formulating my very first character.
I was thinking about just the initial meeting, but yeah,
I see what
you're saying.
When you said you liked my sexy costume.
I didn't say that exactly.
But that's what he meant.
Heavily implied it.
Can't believe I wrote you
I didn't want to be creepy.
I know, you managed, because that was a tough time for meeting people on the internet. We have to wrap up. We have to take our kid to a party. Right. What were you talking to a friend about? Tell me.
Oh, she was just saying that we were talking about the old days of the internet, and I talked about how in the early days of AOL, I had a like full-on relationship with a girl from Chicago who I think, I want to say, like, I always joke that it was catfishing, but I think that we did actually talk on the phone. So that would have been pretty hard to have it be fake still. But I was telling this other friend about that, and she was just like, oh, yeah, I used to catfish people all the time. I was just like, I mean, not children. Yeah. She, like, but she would she would be, well, she was a child. And she would like try to catfish like adults pretending to be like a 27-year-old with striking green eyes and red hair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really disturbing what we did in the days of AOL Messenger.
Oh, my God, the mid-90s were...
Guys... Talk to your kids about internet safety.
I saw some shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Rough. Anyway, this was really fun. I could talk to you about this for a long time.
Do they want us to talk about this for a long time?
Probably. Okay, I love you. Bye.